Welcome to City's podcast. I am Deepa Mehra, your host for today. As a dedicated yoga and meditation enthusiast with over a decade of experience, I have committed my life to helping people find balance and tranquility. Today, I am thrilled to explore the profound connection between mindfulness and daily commutes with industry leaders. In this episode, we will delve into how innovative ideas and cutting-edge digital tools in the transport industry can significantly reduce employee stress. City offers managed mobility services designed to ease the burden on facility heads by managing non-core transport tasks. This comprehensive service streamlines transport management, allowing facility heads to concentrate on their primary responsibilities. By expertly handling all transport-related aspects, CT ensures an efficient and seamless commute, enhancing productivity and employee satisfaction. So join us as we uncover how mindfulness can transform the commuting experience and bolster mental well-being. Together, we'll embark on a journey towards a more mindful, stress-free commute, paving the way for a healthier, happier workplace. Let's get started on the path to serenity and efficiency. Let me extend a warm welcome to Mr. Varghese. He is leading in procurement for a prominent multinational corporation. Mr. Varghese, for the benefit of our viewers and listeners, could you please provide us with a brief introduction of yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Deepa. It was a very long introduction. I understand now that you are practicing yoga. Is that what you said? And you support the company to have people stress released. So that's a great job. I would love to do something like that. So back to me, my name is Varghese. I'm a procurement professional and been in the industry for over 25 years. I specialize in the travel industry. And if you ask me, I actually landed up in procurement accidentally. Didn't have any formal education in procurement when I started off, but now kind of learned on the job and I've got myself required certification to be a professional procurement manager. In my current role, I am responsible for a multinational company and manage their travel cross-category across the globe. In my previous roles, I was a process engineer and was part of cutting-edge technology projects, and that kind of led me to have my interest in technology and grow my knowledge and work around the technology space within the travel industry. I'm married to Simi, two adorable kids, and what do I do in my spare time? I love going on long drive with my family.
That's good. Me too. I love long drive. So
I said long drive because inside the city that I live in, which is Bangalore, you cannot drive. So
okay, yeah, sure. Thank you, Mr. Varghese, for that wonderful introduction. Really, it's inspiring to hear about your extensive knowledge in this arena. We are excited to learn more about the pioneering approaches and solutions you have executed over the years. So I'm also excited to welcome our visionary and energetic co-founder and CEO, Mr. Sachin Agrawal. So, Mr. Sachin, for our viewers and listeners, could you please share your quick introduction?
Thanks, Deepa. So, having worked with some 15 large enterprises on giving consulting on employee transportation, we thought of starting something of my own. That's how CT was born in year 2021, September, mid of September, when the COVID-19 was at peak, right? And at CT, we do three things. We are not someone if a client wants X number of vehicles to manage their employee transport, we don't do that. We try and add some value to a client operations, through our managed mobility model. Secondly, we also happen to be consultant and advisor to many, many organizations for managing the employee transport piece efficiently. Thirdly, we do help desk management. So, conventionally, if you see organizations take people, human capital through third party or through FM companies, right? So, they no longer have to go to these FM companies for hiring these people. They can have experts, domain experts like CT, and have people on board to manage their transport desk. So as far as my personal life is concerned, I'm brought up in Delhi. I live in Gurgaon today, and married, blessed with a 14-year-old son. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sachin, for a lovely introduction. Over to you, Sachin.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Mr. Varghese, we have seen you over years. You've been handling travel, you've been handling transport, for a fairly large organizations, the procurement in a procurement role. And as we see now, you've handled India region, APAC, and now with a global role. So what we want to understand from you is that, what is the similarity you find in travel and transport when you talk from the procurement standpoint, right? Because we understand both these commodities are fairly large, and especially when you talk about large organizations that you've represented, right? So what is the similarity you see in both the portfolios?
I think I need a bit of clarification here. So what you're saying is travel. So you're talking about airline, hotel, and ground transportation. And when you say transportation, you're talking about employee transportation.
That's
right?
correct.
Is that
That's correct.
how you define? Okay, so if you really ask me, employee transportation, I will put it under as a part of the travel as in whole industry, right? So travel is a larger umbrella, and travel for employee transportation, ground transportation, this comes as a part of the travel industry. Now, if you specifically ask me, travel industry, if you're talking about air, hotel, air and ground transport, this been existing and has been going through a lot of changes, fine tuning, and it's kind of a matured area. But when you look at employee transportation, I will say it will have. I can go back to 10, 15 years, and that's the time that employee transportation have been in existence for. I mean, there have been other kind of employee transportation in the past, but I'm talking about home office kind of an employee transportation that's kind of existing for the last 15 years. So if you really look at it, it has matured, but has not caught up with what travel industry as whole has reached as of today. The other thing that I want to mention about employee transportation is it's a very local India kind of a requirement. Very few countries outside India have this particular category being offered to their employees. But travel, hotel, and the taxi service is kind of something which is across. And when we look at from the procurement angles, what I want to say here is the other ones like the air, hotel, taxi service, you can centrally manage, centrally negotiate on a larger scale. But when it comes to employee transportation, you require to focus on India market and kind of negotiate locally in India. So that's kind of one of the biggest difference that I see when you look at rest of the travel and employee transportation. The employee transportation today has started maturing, has started adopting technology, and it is becoming scalable. But the travel industry, the rest of the travel industry has been doing that for some time. and they have developed and have capability to scale things way beyond what we can see in normal conditions. So that's by and large the big things. Other things like sustainability, which is a very new thing, data transparency, which is pretty new. These are the kind of things which is still getting adopted by the the employee transport industry. Standardization and technology enhancement are things which are coming in, but they are not there yet.
Fantastic, fantastic, great insights. So as I hear from you, when we talk about travel, it's more of a global thing. But when you talk about transport, it is restricted to India. Not many countries offer this kind of a service.
Yeah.
And as you rightly said, transport is something which is still, we would say it is unorganized.
Evolving.
5% of it is unorganized. But yes, I think over last, with the adoption of technology and a lot of initiatives, we see a lot of new big players getting into it. I think probably 10 to 15%. I was looking at a report survey from Frost and Sullivan, which says that 15% of it is already organized today, and probably in the next 5 to 6 years, we see probably 18 to 20% of employee transport getting organized. Very, 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 very valid inputs. So my other question to you is, since you bring in a very, very rich experience into procurement, and procurement heads are known as hard negotiators, right? So how do you really balance it out? How do you ensure that the service deliverables, while negotiating hard with the service providers, how do you ensure that the service expectations from the employees or from the users are not really impacted, while you're able to get what you want from the procurement standpoint?
I'm not sure if that question had reasons beyond what's in front of us, but yeah. If I take that question, traditionally, yes, procurement contribution to the business was through savings, and the savings was directly coming in from negotiations and bringing down the cost. But what I see in the recent past is things are changing drastically. And the reason why it's changing is, I will not say that, I will say, yes, we are looking beyond the pricing as a value creation there. But why did it all come in? I will say it's all started with inflation putting the core contribution at risk and forcing procurement to step up in their saving generation and cost avoidance efforts. So what's actually happening is these external forces are pushing procurement to think outside the box to see how we can still create a value. At the same time, bring in the savings to the business. So there was a time when we used to do hard negotiation on pricing, but those days have changed. Things are going beyond, and it is going in from just hard negotiation to a 360 value creation. Now, you also need to understand this particular industry currently. There is a bit of a issue with between demand and supply. Supply is a bit scarce, and that also means if you do hard negotiation and if there is no win-win situation for both the parties, the party which is losing out will try to pull the services back. And that means it is going to indirectly start impacting the overall experience or the risk that is involved in managing a particular service that you are negotiating for. So it's a need that we understand both the parties. It's a need that we create a win-win situation for both, else the whole model will fail and will not be able to provide the service that is required for your employees' benefits.
Fantastic, great insights. So you spoke about value creation and a win-win for the supplier and for the organization, right? So at CT, we touched upon this model called managed mobility. Our objective here is to, bring some value to the customer, not just providing X number of vehicles. And value could be in, various forms. Definitely, through this consolidation, what is the cost that I save without compromising on the SLAs? At the same time, try and enhance the SLAs. So our end customer here is the employee. What is in it for the employee, right? So better the SLAs. Maybe the OTDs have to be improved. So our focus is both on the, when we talk about value creation or when we talk about win-win, bring down the cost, at the same time enhance the SLAs, right? That's the endeavor that we have, and we've been able to do it for many organizations. So Mr. Varghese, my next question to you is, you've got great experience bringing technology, working on various technologies, from the employee transport standpoint, when we talk about technology induction, right? And as we see in the last 10 to 15 years, various technologies have come in and that have really helped, bringing in efficiencies and probably saving some cost as well. But when we talk about a maker and checker process, right? So, what is the role of technology and how do we ensure that, maker checker process remains intact for an organization, right? So what are your thoughts around it?
So we are living in a world where things are only getting complex. There is no way it's going to get simpler. I mean, the level of data that is required to be managed, the speed at which we are required to manage, the functions, the processes, everything is just only increasing. And humanly, it is getting impossible for people to manage. And there's no option but to bring in technology. Now, there are two parties here. One party is making it, the other party is using it. Now, there is, I will not say there is one standard that we can use. So every company has got its own customized requirement, and the needs are very different from company to company. There might not be one standard solution that will fit everyone. So the technology owner can provide services, but what we need to understand is the requirement of the company can vary, and the different things like the business value, operations efficiency, risk, data. There's a few things that I can think of. SLAs, policies. Now, because these are varying company to company, customizing it for the requirement of a company is a need. Don't have a standard shoe that can fit into everyone's leg. So keeping in mind the employee experience or the client experience, risk compliance, sustainability, scalability, if you can keep these things in mind and create a solution, it should be able to work well for it. Not sure if I got the question right and answer was in line with your question.
No, I got the answer. So I think the key is the customization, and every customer has a different requirement, right?
And it has to be scalable too. I mean, it's just not customizing. You should not lose the ability to scale by customizing it. So we all talk about standardizing it so that we are able to industrialize the services. But at the same time, you require to have a high level of customization for us to be able to get that unique value for a particular company. But by doing that, you should not compromise on other things, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so fantastic. So customization and upgradations from time to time, looking at the need, right? And also, I think it is also important to keep one thing in mind that the maker checker process which we have in place should not be or cannot be compromised upon, right? While we induct technology, the maker checker has to be in place. While we're having new models, we talk about end-to-end model or various other models, but I think that is something which cannot be diluted and which should not be diluted because there's a whole lot of compliance, there are a whole lot of safety security issues around it, right? When you talk about employee commute, it is very, very sensitive to any organization, especially the organizations of scale, any large ITs. Great insights. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Varghese. Deepa, over to you, please.
Great. Engaging with you both is truly inspiring. And your active leadership and knowledge sharing encourage our viewers daily, nurturing growth and thoughtful in an ever evolving transport industry. So before we conclude, Mr. Varghese, could you please share a one-line message for our viewers and listeners that captures your insights and advice?
The only thing that I want to mention here is transportation might not be our core business. And the way the industry is changing and the way the technology is evolving, and the need for continuous investment to keep up with the requirements. It could be employee experience. I mentioned about risk, sustainability, compliance. There are so many things that you need to take care of. If it is not your core business, you will lose the interest, or I won't say interest, I'll say the investment to keep up the tool with the market standard. So go with the company for whom this is the core business, and they will continuously invest in this business so that you are in line with what the market is. Otherwise, you will be very soon outdated and you will have issues which I just mentioned about.
That's great. Thank you, Mr. Varghese, for sharing your invaluable insights and perspectives with us, and your expertise, thoughtful contributions have greatly enriched our discussion. So we are sincerely grateful, Mr. Varghese, for your time and for sharing such valuable insights in this wonderful conversation. At CT, our mission is, yeah. Yes, please.
Thank you, Deepa, for having me with you all.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, sir. And yes, at CT, our mission is to provide value-based, hassle-free, and stress-free office commute services. And your experiences from a large enterprise perspective have a incredibly enlightening. So we would also like to extend our heartfelt thanks to our viewers for their valuable time and patience in listening to this podcast. So stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll bring you more insights from Citi on the latest trends in employee transportation. Thank you, and thank you so much. See you soon.